personal attacks, not on how I served my first term, but rather on my faith, my marital status, and my character. These attacks really made me ask myself, why would somebody put up with this kind of abuse and serve? I was genuinely concerned that these attacks would prevent others in the future from signing up and serving. After the election, I wanted desperately to publicly state that not only do these tactics typically not work, but they're also hurtful to individuals, families, and kids. I felt like if I don't say anything, people simply get away with these nasty attacks. However, I ultimately decided not to share my thoughts publicly because I didn't want it to seem like I was gloating or abusing my position at the dais. The other side would just say, "What are you complaining about? You still won." In short, I didn't think I would be heard. But after watching the last round of personal attacks on all three alderman candidates and the mayor, who wasn't even running, I once again felt the urge to stand up and ask one question. Have we had enough dirty politics? I don't need to list all the attacks, but I'm sure we've all seen the foolish assertions that the mayor and the new board want to drink and have meetings at the paddle wheel. Remember the quote, "Buzz decisions are good decisions"? Not only was it an unfounded attack and foolish and stupid, but none of the new aldermen are really even drinkers. It made no sense. Then there were several attacks about cowboy hats and tattoos, where people live, and my favorite, we've never even heard of this guy. As if any of those reasons should preclude any of us from voting for an individual. We even had the Branson Globe print a true-false article, which was propaganda that Joseph Goebbels would have been proud of, literally the week of the election. So moving forward, is it fair to request that these keyboard warriors focus on voting records or positions on issues and leave out the personal attacks? I'll ask again, have we had enough dirty politics? Now on to our so-called pillars of our business community who supported the side that was creating all this garbage. Our theme park managers, attraction and hotel owners, brokers, previous aldermen and alderwomen, are they complicit with this type of ugly politics? Or are we simply to believe that they just didn't see them? Not once did any incumbent or city leader who supported them come out and denounce these trashy politics. All it would have taken is for one to say, I support X candidate, but I denounce the personal attacks. But it didn't happen. I guess ignorance is indeed bliss. Lastly, to the new board. Alderman-elect Howden, Rodriguez, and LeBlanc, congratulations on a clean campaign. I didn't see one personal attack on any of the incumbents. You should be proud of the races that you ran, not because you won, but rather for running clean campaigns and not getting swept up in the sewer of personal attacks. While the last elections have been a strong rebuke for government overreach, a lack of transparent government, and even disrespect for our kids downstairs, it's also very important for our new board to show the community how boards should function. Have disagreements, but be professional. Be humble and respectful to the community who elected you. Allow them to be heard. Be willing to fight for change, but remember others can and will have differing opinions. And if you decide to run again in the future, don't ever stoop to the level that a few bad actors stooped to during this election cycle. Branson is so much better than that.
Thank you, Kevin. Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker, Cherry Webster, 118 Country Bluff Drive, speaking on transparency and accountability.
Congratulations, Chuck Rodriguez, Ralph LeBlanc, and Marshall Howden. It's a delight to see you here, and it's going to be even more so as you move to the dais in a few minutes. Tonight, I would like to address this new board on the topics of transparency and accountability. Last year, Mayor Milton and Alderman Denham and Cooper ran on the platform of transparency and accountability. Branson residents wanted that change and elected them. This year, LeBlanc, Howden, and Rodriguez ran on those same sentiments, and they too were elected. My question to this new board are, how transparent will you choose to be? How accountable will you choose to be? How will you demonstrate this transparency and accountability? First, consider a simple example. Look at a family issue. A parent has discovered a child has shoplifted an item. What does the parent do? March the child to the store manager and confess and return or pay for the item? Will the parent alone return the item and pay for it? Will the parent chastise the child but ignore returning or paying for the item? Will the parent do nothing and hope the issue doesn't come up again? How transparent and accountable will the parent be? Now consider a public issue. Since July 2021, the Board of Aldermen and the P&Z have seen the documenting of a number of issues that have arisen from the development process of Dan Ruta's project at 3855 Fall Creek Road. They include circumvention of the land disturbance process, circumvention of the stormwater detention, circumvention of buffer width, circumvention of the P&Z zoning process, and circumvention of the public oversight of waived fees. 2 years after the development started, the Country Bluff neighborhood is still missing half a buffer, and the developer continues to use 2 lots in Country Bluff as his stormwater detention pond. Just how accountable and transparent will this new board be? Just accountable for your own actions from tonight's swearing in and going forward, or accountable enough to take responsibility for your predecessors' actions or lack thereof? What is this new board going to do about Bill 5840 and its resulting ordinance 2020-84, the zoning by way of an annexation plan of intent? How transparent are you going to be? Will you be telling Acting City Attorney Meadows to stop this municipal Fifth Amendment approach of mum's the word? And will you present the city's ironclad legal justification for bypassing the planning and zoning process? Will the board take the initiative and add an agenda item to rescind the zoning and follow the law? Will the board need to be challenged of its legality yet again? Will a Country Bluff resident or its POA need to take civil action against the city? Just how accountable will you choose to be? Or will you be the new good old boys? As mayor, Mr. Milton, you are the leader of the pack. You now have a 5-pack to help you accomplish the tasks that you've identified. Would you also please consider these 5 additional to-do items that have been provided in your handout? 1, be accountable and amend City Code 9434 on annexation and prevent a repeat of what has happened to Country Bluff since February of 2020. 2, be transparent and present the city's ironclad legal justification for the Aldermen zoning by way of annexation plan of intent versus the required planning and zoning process. Or 3, be accountable and rescind that zoning and follow the rule of law. What's the worst that can happen if the zoning is rescinded? Is the developer going to sue the city for following the law? Even if there is the expense of a civil suit, is it not fair and just to correct errors, even if by previous boards? And number 4, be transparent and establish a dollar threshold on the waiving of fees without a public hearing. And 5, be accountable and start tracking waived fees and any other sources of uncollected revenue. Mr. Mayor, thank you for public comment, and may this new board be effective and productive public servants.
Thank you, Cherry. Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Deanna Slatton, 187 Lone Pine Drive, Lone Pine, Branson, Missouri, speaking on health safety.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies. The last time I was here, I talked to you about graphene oxide and PCR test and masks being bioweapons. That's what we have discovered. They are bioweapons being used on the public. So are the shots. All of this coming to you by research that you can do yourself. I've sent all this information to the board members. Some of them are new, will not receive this yet. But problem is, people are being lied to. Those that have gotten the vaccines are chimeras. You actually are. They are lying to you in the public. You also have the potential of getting HIV and becoming HIV positive. There is a lawsuit brought by Todd Callender, who is suing the military and some of the DOD for not bringing this to public. He has found through his research, and he is an attorney, so he's not going to lie. If he does, he's in trouble. Now, I'm very angry because this has affected my family too. I am pissed. My daughter has the progesterone level of an 80-year-old woman. It's going to cause sterility in anyone vaccinated. Not only that, but people are going to be getting VAIDS. If you don't know what that is, you need to research it. It's vaccine-induced AIDS. Now, after the first shot, 30% of your natural immunity is gone. Third shot is gone, gone, gone. Bye. See ya. Now you're going to depend on somebody else to take care of you. So get this in your head, people. You can research this on yourself. Don't go to Google, YouTube, or Twitter that's owned by the elites. They're not going to let you know the truth. You're going to have to dig to find this information. I have some. If you want it, I'll give it. Now, Dr. David Martin also has brought the case against Tony Fauci. He has 5 felonies and has not been arrested. What does that say? When somebody can legally do this stuff to you and me, because it's not just vaccinated, unvaccinated people that's going to suffer. The animals are suffering as well. It's caused by graphene oxide. But there is a hope. I'll bring that to you too. Graphene oxide, if the levels get too high in your body, you're gone. Bye-bye. And there's no coming back unless you go to the Jesus Lord himself. Now, if you get your glutathione levels up, that means that you eat plenty of glutathione and you take plenty of vitamins and vitamin C and D and all of these things, then you're going to be good for a while. The reason diabetics, fat people, and old people are dying is because their glutathione levels are low. Low, low. Also, 5G ties into this by activating the graphene in your body. Okay? So if you don't know what that is, you need to research that too. It will cause you to have problems. And even the morgues are talking about it, how it's stringing in the people's veins. It's magnetic. 18 gigahertz, it can be activated, and anybody in here can start shedding anything. The vaccines have been with Ebola, HIV, Marburg, and E. coli. That's what you've been grafted with. Not only that, luciferase, which is a bug DNA, a firefly DNA, luciferase. Look that one up. Now, if you want to know the truth, start your own research. Don't take my word for it, but you can start researching, and I'll gladly give you the information.
30 seconds.
What I want to see is the mask, PCR test, and the shots stopped in Branson, Missouri. Starting today. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, before we move on, let me say that starting with our next speaker and moving forward throughout the year, I'm a big believer in listening to open public comment. In the spirit of time, for not just this board, but everybody that attends the meetings, I'd like to limit the topics for public speaking. They need to address the city of Branson and the things that this board can affect. Okay, so from now on moving forward, I didn't want to interrupt Deanna? Yes. But moving forward, the topics need to be about our city and what this board can do to affect that. Thank you very much. Are there more speakers?
That's all of our speakers.
Oh, so I gave the speech for nothing. Save me from giving it next week. Next is the consent agenda. Are there items that any member of the audience would like to have moved down from the consent agenda to ask questions? Any items from the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of Finance Committee minutes for the March 3rd, 2022 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of Industrial Development Authority minutes for the March 16th, 2021 meeting. Final reading of Bill Number 6141, an ordinance approving a request for a zoning change from planned development to community commercial for the property located at 245 Middleton Drive, Branson, Missouri. Final reading of Bill Number 6142, an ordinance approving a request for a zoning change from high-density residential to community commercial for the property located at 797 Ford Street, Branson, Missouri. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda. The floor is open for a motion approving all items on the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion, almost a second. There we go. We now have a motion and a second. Any discussion from members in the audience? Discussion from the board? Oh, Deanna?
What is the city going to do about stopping these bioweapons?
Deanna, would you
Your
come to
Honor.
the microphone, please?
We're on the consent, just as a reminder.
What is the city going to do about these bioweapons that have graphene oxide in them? The PCR test, the shots, the mask. What is the city going to do? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
Deanna, we're through with the public comment section. We're now talking about the consent agenda. Did you have any questions on
No.
the consent?
My question is just what the city's planning on doing. I want to hear back from somebody. Thank you.
Any other member of the audience have any questions or comments about consent? Members of the board? Hearing none, let's vote.
Your Honor, that carried 5-0.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please provide an introduction to this next item?
Your Honor, this is the certification of election results by Donna Neely, Taney County Clerk. The following is an official certificate of election results for the municipal election held in Taney County, Missouri on April 5th, 2022. For Alderman Ward 1, Bill Skanes, 145 votes, Marshall Howden, 234 votes. For Alderman Ward 2, Charles Chuck Rodriguez, 204 votes, Jeff C., 201 votes. For Alderman Ward 3, Jamie Whitus, 188 votes, Ralph J. LeBlanc, 298 votes. At this time, we will now have the recognition of the outgoing alderman.
Mayor will go to the podium and call each. Bill Skanes, would you come join me, please? I'd like to take just a minute and read some of Alderman Skanes' accomplishments while on the board. He was first elected to the board April 2018 to June 2020 and was re-elected from June 2020 to April 2022. He served 4 years. Bill was on the Capital Improvement Committee, now called the Finance Committee, from April 2018 to April 2019 and was reappointed every year until April 2021. He served 3 years. Bill was on the Human Resource Committee from June 2020 to April 21 and was appointed from April 21 to April 22. He served 2 years. Bill served on the Planning Commission from May of 2018 to April of 2019, was reappointed April of 19 to April of 20. He served 2 years. Bill was on the Taney County Partnership from April 21 to April 22. He served 1 year. He was also on the Transportation Development District, the TTD Board, from July 18 to April 21 as the interim director to fill the unexpired term of Mike Booth, and was reappointed as director on the TDD from July 21 to April 24, serving 4 years. This isn't 24 already, is it? Bill was on the 76 Entertainment Community Improvement District, the SID, from May of 21 to March of 22 to fill the unexpired term of Bob Simmons, and was reappointed March of 22 to March of 26. Boy, time is flying. He served 1 year. He's also on the M. Graham Clark Downtown Airport Board from May of 18 to April of 19, and was reappointed from April 19 to April 20. And then again from April 21 to April 22, he served 3 years. I'd like to read a plaque that is being presented to Bill. It's the City of Branson, Missouri, presented to Bill Skanes in recognition of outstanding dedication and service on the Branson Board of Aldermen, 2018-2022, presented by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. It has absolutely been one of the greatest honors that I have ever been involved with, besides becoming a grandparent for the first time, and in September being another grandparent. But I want to say congratulations to Marshall and all the people that got elected. I am gratefully indebted to everybody who served on this board, the police, the fire, public works groups, the administration, even Keith. Is Keith here tonight?
Even Keith.
Okay, Keith. And for the work that you guys have all done. We have an excellent staff. We have an excellent finance staff. The board has left the new board, if you haven't seen the reports, with the highest bit of revenues that we've ever seen in the city of Branson. And I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for the work they have done to market this community, and the cooperative nature that we've had between the mayor and the Board of Aldermen with the Chamber of Commerce to make this happen. I know whenever we first formed the tourism district, nobody ever wanted to serve on it when we originally got it going. Now we're raising about $8-9 million a year, and things are happening. Branson is booming, and I hope it continues to do. Stan, I want to thank you for the work that you've done, and all of the staff all the way around. You are professional people, and you'd be commended for your work. And thank you, Mayor, for the honor.
Jamie, come on down. Jamie was a Board of Aldermen, first elected June of 2020 to April 22. He served 2 years. He was on the Human Resource Committee, April 21 to April 22, serving 1 year. He's on the Finance Committee, April 21 to April 22. He served as Chamber of Commerce representative from June 20th to April 21. He's on the Advisory Park Board from June 20 to April 21. He also served on the Transportation Development District from April 21 as interim director to fill the unexpired term of Brian Klontz, and was reappointed as director on the TDD from July 21 to April 24. Jamie also was on the 76 Entertainment Community District, Improvement District, from December 20 to March of 22 to fill an unexpired term from Joel Hornickel, and was reappointed March of 22 to March of 26. Or he served 2 years. I'd like to read this plaque that I'll be presenting to Jamie. City of Branson presented to Jamie Whitus in recognition of outstanding dedication and service on the Branson Board of Aldermen, 2020 to 2022, presented by the Mayor and the Board of Aldermen.
Bill had 2 more years than me, so I'll keep it a little more brief.
Hey.
Ralph, congratulations. Marshall, Chuck, good luck to you guys. Wish you the best. City staff, you're wonderful to work with. I appreciated working with you from bottom floor all the way top. You guys were a great bunch, and we do have a great city staff, and things are in good shape with them. So, fellow aldermen that are serving again, been great working with you this last year, and I wish you the best also. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Jeff C. was unable to make it this evening. Jeff C. was on the Board of Aldermen, first elected June 20 and through April 22, serving 2 years. He was on the Human Resource Committee, June 20 to April 21. The Advisory Park Board from April 21 to April 22. He's on the Planning Commission from June 20 to April 21. Transportation Development District from October 20 to April 22 as interim director to fill the unexpired term of Rick Castellon. I'll read this presentation to Jeff. City of Branson presented to Jeff C. in recognition of outstanding dedication and service on the Branson Board of Aldermen, 2020 to 2022, presented by the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. How'd I do, Lisa? Okay. Are there any final comments from any member of the board?
Just one, Mayor. I hope that we get this fire station built and staffed before I pass away. So work on it hard, okay?
Dick Gass is in the audience, and I'll assure you he's going to make that happen. Thank you, Dick. Any other comments? Next item on the agenda is to adjourn. The floor is open to adjourn the Board of Aldermen meeting.
Ruth's got the magic pen.
We have a motion. And
I'll second it.
Bill Skane seconded. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Your Honor, we have a vote of 5-0 to adjourn this meeting. And I would personally like to thank those who have served also. Thank you.
I would like to give a standing ovation to our outgoing alderman. Thank you. I understand we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we will begin the next Board of Aldermen meeting.
I, Marshall Howden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Alderman, Ward 1,
for the office of Alderman, Ward 1,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state,
of this state
affecting cities of this class,
affecting cities of this class,
and the ordinances of the city of Branson, Missouri,
and the ordinances of the city of Branson, Missouri,
and will faithfully
and will faithfully
demean myself while in office.
demean myself while in office.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa.
Charles Rodriguez, Alderman, Ward 2. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Charles Rodriguez,
I, Charles Rodriguez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Alderman, Ward 2,
for the office of Alderman, Ward 2,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and
States
the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provision of all laws
of this state,
of this state,
affecting cities of this class,
affecting cities of this class,
and the ordinances of the city of Branson,
and the ordinances of the city of Branson,
and will faithfully
demean myself while in office.
Congratulations. Ralph LeBlanc, Alderman, Ward 3. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ralph LeBlanc,
I, Ralph LeBlanc,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Alderman, Ward 3,
for the office of Alderman, Ward 3,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of the state,
of the state,
affecting cities of this class,
affecting cities of this class,
in the ordinances of the city of Branson,
in the ordinances of the city of Branson,
and will faithfully
and will faithfully
demean myself while in office.
demean myself while in office.
Congratulations.
I will now call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call vote?
Benton. Here. Denham. Here. Cooper.
Here.
Milton.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Howden.
Here.
LeBlanc.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we will take nominations for the acting president of the board.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Clay Cooper for acting president of the board.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second for Clay Cooper to be the mayor pro tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Welcome, Clay Cooper.
Thank you.
That means he will be running the meetings in my absence. Fair warning.
Mayor, it's like getting an insurance policy you hope you never have to use.
So, item number 1, our agenda, Madam Clerk.
Your Honor, the next item is a review of the board and committee vacancies and establishing meeting dates and times.
I will give the staff report. We have, is it up on the board or no? We have many positions open for the various committees at the city. I'm going to ask and encourage anybody that wants to get involved and help make our city as great as it can be to consider signing up. You can do that on our city website, short application. Applications will be submitted, and at our next Board of Aldermen meeting, we'll be appointing planning. So just real briefly, we changed, the deadlines for all committees have been April 27th. Those dates are after our next Board of Aldermen meeting. We've changed the deadline application date for planning and zoning only to April 20th. The reason it's been changed to April 20th is the Planning and Zoning Commission, they elect their chairman on the first meeting of May. So what's happened in the past is the P&Z would elect their chairman before the Planning and Zoning Commission has been established, if that makes sense. We moved it up to April 20th, so at our next Board of Aldermen meeting, we'll be filling the positions for Planning and Zoning. So if you have an interest in that, April 20th is the deadline. All the other committees, did you want me to go through these, Lisa?
So we are looking at the candidate or the citizen membership. So for instance, as you can see up there, there's 3 citizen members. So there's 3 openings at this time on Planning Commission and 1 Board of Aldermen. So the Board of Aldermen representatives will be appointed by the mayor to serve on those, and that will be done next meeting also. So the mayor may want to have a discussion about whose interest in that also.
In the Planning and Zoning.
In all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Have you had a chance to look over the different committees? Do I hear, Marshall, what are you interested in?
Yes, sir. Well, for the past 4 years, Mr. Mayor, I've served on Planning and Zoning Commission. And I say I did my good service on that. I think we did a lot of good things. But for the last year, you appointed me on Parks Board, and I feel that I'm thriving on that board. I would like to continue to be the Alderman representative to the Branson Parks Board.
Okay. We'll take that under advisement.
Thank you, sir.
Don't want him to feel too comfortable. Any other aldermen have an interest in any of these committees? If you don't sign up, I will appoint. So
Is there just one left now for the planning commission, is that right? As far as the alderman?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to appoint Ruth to stay on the planning and zoning because of her expertise in that field.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
So don't be bashful.
I also think that to help the discussion is that, and this can be done later, and you can talk to the mayor about it, but we put the times up there because of availability due to maybe your jobs or something like that, what will work. So those are things that you might want to discuss also as to what times. There's another page to go through. It's just sorry, there you go. That's just an open discussion on those availabilities or those times. Some of those are not here. You'll see towards the bottom, the Chamber of Commerce, Taney County Partnership, M. Graham Clark Airport. Those are outside agencies that we have an alderman rep that serves on it. We serve under their bylaws or their appointment procedures, but we do provide somebody to go there. So there's some information as to the times and dates available and what maybe could be filled by you. And again, I reiterate, there is a lot of citizens positions open. It's a great way to get involved with the city.
Okay, so, yeah, that second sheet explains that there are certain committees, Chamber of Commerce, Taney County Partnership, the airport, that I'll be appointing aldermen for those positions. However, we have openings on our HR committee, finance committee, planning and zoning, the park board, board of adjustment, and board of appeals. So let me see a show of hands. Who wants to be on the park? No, just kidding. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll visit with the aldermen. They'll share with me what their interest is, and we'll get them filled out. You good with that?
And also, I think it should be pointed out that our study sessions are set for Thursdays, usually between the first meeting of the month and the second meeting of the month, and they're set at 1:30 right now. So those are things for you to consider. Thank you.
Yeah, the study sessions are really important to attend, so if there's an alderman or two that have an issue with the time or the day, we can reschedule that to try to accommodate everybody's schedule. Or you can do what I did, turn my business over to my wife.
I second that.
My wife Leanne is in the audience, and she's doing very well allowing me to be your mayor.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I have a question of Madam Clerk.
you gotta speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy. Okay, are there specific committees or boards to where it's required to be a resident in the city limits, citizen in the city limits, or can someone serve if they are out of the city limits?
So most of our boards are that way. All the qualifications are on our website under each board that explains that. I can tell you that the Finance Committee and the HR Committee allows, because they're set by code, allows a business to designate, a business inside the city limits, to designate somebody to represent them to serve on the board. And there's a special form, it's available on the website, that you can fill out, and you have that business say it's okay, they sponsor that person. But that's very specific to the Finance Committee and the HR Committee, because those are established in our code by the board, actually. They're established now, but that's comes from the boards. And the number that is served on those will be voted on at the meeting, so I don't have an exact number. We serve usually 2 to 3 on those boards.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
But Lisa, is it fair to say that as a board, we could change that if we
I-
desired?
So I'm going to go back to So let's say the IDA authority, that's set by statute. So I cannot say that through every one of these because they're come out of bylaws on some of them. So it depends on where they're established. The authority documents that we have tells us what we can do. I can't tell you you can't change some of them, but some of you can't. Definitely Finance Committee and HR Committee, you have the power to change that. That's in code. The other ones, we have to go through each one and see if they're established by state statutes, by bylaws of the specific organization committee. For instance, planning has bylaws. So the Planning Commission would have to change their bylaws. The authority's under the Planning Commission, not this Board of Aldermen.
So the Planning Commission bylaws say that committee members on P and Z must be residents of the city.
Well, and some of that even reaches into state statute. So
Okay,
it depends
fair
on
enough.
where they reach to, but there are bylaws, there's state statute, and their codes. Until that's researched, they're not a generic across-the-board answer.
Okay,
It's
fair
very
enough.
specific.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, but HR and Taney County Partnership, just do you know off the top of your head if those were city resident requirements?
HR is a resident and it can be a designation, same as
Can be a
finance.
designation.
Those two, Finance Committee and HR can have, they have to be in city limits or they can be designated by a business.
Which means if there's a non-resident in the city limits would like to be on one of these committees, a local business in the city limits can sponsor you to be on that committee, if that made sense.
Again, all that information's on the city's website. The applications are there, designation forms are there. The outline information on what the committees do is on the website. So all that information's available on the website. You can submit those applications electronically. They come to me. So, and if you're welcome to call me if you have any, or my office if you have any more questions.
And I understand Jason Wirt is going to help us get the word out on that through Tri-Lakes. That's it for item 1?
We ready to move on?
Yep.
Your Honor, this is the first reading, Bill Number 6143, an ordinance approving the sublease agreement with Bar OW LLC for the operation of a commercial boat dock and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. The floor is open for a motion to approve the first reading of Bill Number 6143.
We have a motion. Ooh, look it. A new alderman seconded it. They went through training.
She said you had to be quick on the draw here. So.
We'll now get a staff report from Cindy Shook.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I got the honor of addressing the new board for the first time, but here you go. Mr. Mayor, members of the board, the city of Branson entered into a sublease with Patton Companies LLC doing business at Scotty's Trout Dock on January 22nd, 2019 for the sublease of an operating commercial dock. City of Branson has sublet Scotty's Trout Dock with the approval of Liberty Utilities, formerly Empire District Electric Company, to Patton Companies LLC and their predecessors since November 14, 1985. A request is being submitted from Patton Companies for the Board of Aldermen to approve a new sublease with Bar OW LLC for the operation of commercial boat dock known as Scotty's Trout Dock. The approval of the item will supersede and replace the current sublease of Scotty's Trout Dock with Patton Companies. Staff recommends approval of the bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from anybody in the audience? Hearing none, any questions from the board? What?
Is this just because of the new ownership? Is that what, because Lamar back there got rid of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
HP's a good guy. I met him this last Saturday. Right there he is.
Good to hear. So, no other comments? Chuck, you have to pay attention during the meetings. Are you ready to vote? Let's vote. Chuck is without a computer.
Go ahead and vote. I'm waiting for votes. Alderman Rodriguez, what would you like to vote, please? I'll register it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we have a computer that just went down.
Mine's not letting me vote either, Lisa.
Hit that refresh.
Lisa, mine's letting me vote. I was the problem child yesterday, not today.
Apparently Marshall needs to go to summer school.
I think they said that about me.
Your Honor, that motion carried. Thank you. I lost it.
Thank you, Cindy.
6-0, thank you.
So if you learned in class, the last thing we do at our meetings is we go through reports. And we'll go down the list, starting with Alderman Fenton.
Mayor, I don't have anything to report other than to say, I don't know if you can hear me or not, thank you to the outgoing board members and for their service to our city, and big congratulations to our new board members, and looking forward to having you up here. So,
Thank you. Alderman Denham?
This time I get to echo you, Alderman Fenton, instead of vice versa. But yes, congratulations to our new board members. We're excited to get moving forward. I attended a Concerned Women for America meeting this morning, to where we pray for this city, we pray for the laws that are changing. Very active group. Planning and zoning meeting last Tuesday night. One of the items on the agenda was the Epps Family Development, a zoning amendment for that project. There were residents from the Branson North subdivision present at the meeting, and overall the project was well accepted. It's a great project, but there was concern regarding the 15-foot setback on nightly rentals, which directly abuts Branson North. So the developer and the Branson North residents and city staff are going to all work together so that they could bring present something to the Board of Aldermen when it comes on April 26th.
Thank you, Ruth. Alderman Cooper. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll ditto what the two Aldermen Denham and Fenton said. Congratulations to the new board, and look forward to working with each of you and moving the city in a forward direction. So good to have y'all.
Alderman Chuck.
I want to thank everybody that came out to vote, everybody that supported us. The three of us up here have controlled the narrative for the last 3 months, and now the city of Branson gets control of the narrative on how it's ran. And I look forward to it. I look forward to working with all you guys up here, especially you, Cody. We got a divided ward, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Alderman Howden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sitting here tonight is a new perspective on a place I've sat many times right down there. In fact, I think I figured it out. It's about 120 times in the last 6 years. I was a citizen who sat and watched the men and women who are a part of this council, and I learned how to be an alderman by observing. I learned some things I should do, and I learned others that I shouldn't. One of my goals is to bring a level of prestige back to this side of the dais. Going forward, I will be asking my fellow aldermen to observe decorum that is free from constant banter and jokes to the audience. I'm like anybody. I love to have a good time. But there will always be times when we will laugh together and have joyful moments on this council. They do not need to be forced. I also want to open up more dialogue with the citizens. Building on a theme, I once sat right in one of these chamber seats and live streamed the COVID-19 meetings to 80,000 individuals over a few-month period. Shortly after, the city saw a definite need for a YouTube page, and that is just a small example of how we can open this up for all our citizens. You know, Ward 1 is an important district. I've always said it's called Ward 1 for a reason, right? We contain the majority of our entertainment sector in some of the oldest neighborhoods outside of downtown. I'm quite partial to it. I think it's got two pretty good representatives as well. I'll always remember that my grandpa had a lot of faith in this place. He got the entire vision right away, that the whole town was the show. It's truly been an honor that I got to run for office so many times in my hometown and meet so many awesome people. At this point, I want to thank my family, my fiancée Kendra, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and all the friends that got me to where I got to today. I thank you so much. And now I get to serve you. Finally, I want everyone to know that the Song of Hope movement is alive and well. And over the next few months, I will be working alongside our mayor and my fellow aldermen to ensure that we fulfill the mission to fortify and support our live music show industry. That's always been of utmost importance. I'll end. When we're young, we want to get away. When we're old, we want to go back. And we spend our lives replacing all the things we leave behind. Thank you for this opportunity, and God bless.
At the risk of injecting humor, Alderman LeBlanc, can you follow that?
Jeez. Thanks, Marshall. Mr. Mayor, Alderman. Wow. So what an amazing experience this whole election thing has been. And I would say of all things, the best experience was meeting more and more people. I've been in business here for 24 years, and I thought I knew a lot of people. And I'll tell you, over the last 2 months, I know a lot more people. And what was really amazing, I talked about community, communication, and compassion, and how important those were for our community. And I utilized those 3 words every time I knocked on a door, for every mile that I walked in my boots, because it was that important to me to connect with people, because I knew that's what our city was lacking. When we can communicate together and do it effectively, we can thrive as a community. And I think, not that it was missing, it was just a little under par. And that's one thing that I hope to bring to this dais, is a better quality of communication. There's always been communication, but I want it to be of a quality that not just meets the expectation of the citizens of Branson, but exceeds the expectation of the residents of Branson, actually. I like residents better. So for all of you that supported me in my campaign and getting me elected, wow, thank you so much. I'm absolutely honored. I love each and every one of you that I spoke to, and for those that stood there for 13 hours with me, you guys are honorable. Thank you so much. With all that being said, I think our community is in a position to do some amazing, amazing things. And I think we have a council here that is thirsty to do that for you. So as a new alderman, for the residents of Ward 3, we have more people. But I encourage you to reach out to me. I encourage you to reach out to these other aldermen in Wards 2 and Wards 1, because it is that important that we reconnect, that we re-engage, and that we take our city from where it is to where we all envision it to be. Because, we all individually have a vision, but we know that you guys have a vision living in the community, and we want to be part of bringing that to fruition, and not just one person's idea, but collectively the entire community's idea. So with that being said, thank you all. I appreciate all of your hard work and your attention and your votes, and thank you. And I would also like to thank my wife for allowing me to do this. And I got 3 of my 4 daughters here. I have some grandkids, so 5 kids, 5 grandkids. I know I don't look old enough to, but but they're great, and they keep me young. So thank you all. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, that That was just off the cuff.
Thank you, Alderman LeBlanc. I anticipate long meetings. Administrator Dobbins.
What I will say is, and this is from my heart, the outgoing folks, they did what they felt was the best job they could do. The incoming folks, you're going to do the best job you believe you can do. What I will say is that a couple of you mentioned family, and one of you mentioned a fiance. Most people don't realize how much of your time you are now giving to this community. So never forget your family. Make them not forget you. I remember a conversation that the mayor and I had about Thursdays. It's very important to this community that you have that communication. Please, all I ask is that you bring some of it back to us, because we want to do what you want for this community. And it works best when we're all communicating together. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're about to do. And God bless you, because you're about to get fed with a fire hose.
Thank you, Stan. I really don't have anything prepared. I know I'm excited. The community has spoken, and that is your one day a year to share how you want to be governed. And April of '21 election and this past election, I believe this board has heard you loud and clear, and we are truly servants. With full transparency and openness comes some responsibility from the public also. Full transparency means when we make a mistake, not if, when we make a mistake, I choose to openly admit it, possibly share the reasons why that decision was made, apologize, ask for your forgiveness, and move on. So don't beat us up when we make mistakes. I'm very proud of this board. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Lisa. And I'm excited to get to work. So the sooner we end this meeting, the sooner we can get to work for you. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Uh-oh, Cody's already moved
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and Clay's already seconded it.
They're well trained.
Summer school's gonna be tough. We have a motion, a second to adjourn. Let's vote.
Yeah, I don't have mine.
That's okay, you can vote. Just tell Lisa.
Yay.
They all six said yes, I heard.
Motion carried 6-0. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chad.
Ready for this? Oh, yeah.
All y'all, I know that word. All y'all. I use it all the time. All y'all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's that Texan thing.
All y'all.
It's my accent.
Okay. All y'all ready?
Hey, you, how's it going?
I know, right? I know every time, right? The first time.
That's perfect.
I don't need it. Okay.
Tuesday's the only one I can catch the pony. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I know, I love it. Thank you for thinking of me.